In this video I want to teach you how to make this men's hat. It's very easy to make. It's done all a crochet with 3-color yarn. It's a little bit in the big size. Well, this hat, this foam head is a little small, probably the size of a 10 years old. That's why it looks so big in this thing. So I did this hat with the crochet hook 4.5mm. I recommend to do it with the 4mm if you are using Red Heart Super Saver like I did. That way it's a little smaller the hat. It's in the bigger size. Well, and to depend on the size of the person you're making the hat for. You know, there are smaller men, bigger men. That depends on that. To depend on the size of yarn that you're using. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver, and if you use a thinner yarn, you can use a thicker crochet hook. That way you get the gadget of the size of the hat. Okay, let's start. To make this hat, we're going to use Red Heart Super Saver in 3 colors, black, white, and blue. And the crochet hook that I'm going to use is 4.5mm. We're going to start working with the black. To start, we're going to do a magic circle. I know black is really difficult yarn to see when you're working with, but these are the 3 colors that I want to work. So you have to bear with me. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and those 3, you're never going to count them as we making the hat. We're going to be doing this chain 3, but we're never going to count those 3. You're going to do 12 double crochet in the magic circle. Right. I will meet you here at the end. We're going to pull our yarn, and we're going to close our circle, and we're going to do a slip stitch, not in the top of the chain here, but in the top of the double crochet. Okay. We're going to do our slip stitch, not on the top of this 3 chain here, but on the top of the double crochet. Do slip stitch, and you finish the first row. Here, if you pull this a little bit, you're going to see the opening where you did the chain 3, and in that same space you're going to do 2 double crochet, and you're going to do 2 double crochet in each space in the top. I call them chain space. You're going to do 2 double crochet without counting those chain 3. You're going to end with 24 double crochet. Here I finished row number 2. I'm going to do a slip stitch in the top here of the double crochet. I apologize again if I'm doing this with black, but I like black for this hat. The combination is really nice. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and in the same chain space there, if you pull, you will see the open there in the top. You're going to do 1 double crochet. In the next space, you're going to do 2 together, and that's the first increase. Now 1 in the next, and 2 together in the next, like that. In this row, you're going to do 36 double crochet without counting those chain 3. Okay, I'll meet you here at the end. Here I finished row number 3, and remember, here in that space that you're going to see there beside the chain, you don't want to work in there, because otherwise you will start increasing there and your hat will be a little bigger, and one side it will be a little weird. And then you're going to do a slip stitch here, and you're going to cut your black yarn, and now we're going to start with the white. We're going to do a row of white, a row of blue, a row of white, and then we will continue with the black. But now we're going to do the white. Here I passed my yarn. I did a slip knot, and now I'm going to chain 3, and I did this right on top. You see, that's the chain there, and right on top of that chain I did my other chain 3. Now in this space here is a double crochet, I'm gonna do one double crochet. Now I'm gonna do another double crochet and two together, and I carry the tail with me. That way I lose all those tails at the same time. Okay, now one and two separate double crochet and two together in the next one. Like that, you're gonna continue row number 4 with the white, and at the end you're gonna do a slip stitch right on top of the double crochet. I'm gonna show you now that probably you can see it better. You see you have 1, 2, 3, and in the top you will have the double crochet, and that's where you're doing the slip stitch. And I will meet you there when we do a slip stitch, and we're gonna change to the color blue. This hat you can make a different color. You can make this hat any color you like, even one color. You can make, multiple color, not just 3. You can do 2 row of one color, 2 rows of another one, like that. But I just using 3 colors on mine. Here, because I did my chain 3 and top exactly on top of the chain 3, you see you're gonna have the space for the increase. And you're gonna have this exactly the same as you had with the black, and you don't want to work in there in that little hole there, because otherwise you'll be increasing another stitch. You're just gonna go to the top of the white at that top double crochet, and you're gonna do a slip stitch, and it's perfect. You see, voila. Now you're gonna chain 1, cut the yarn, and start working with the blue one. Here I'm gonna give you the trick and how to. In the black I cannot show you because you don't can see the black, but with the white I'm gonna show you. You grab your tapestry needle, and you have 1, 2, 3. In the top of the third chain, you're gonna separate that open there, and through there you're gonna pass your crochet hook. You see I have it open there. Through there you're gonna pass your crochet hook, and you're gonna grab your blue yarn, and that will be right on top of that 3 chain. And that's the trick. That way, if you see this, you don't see where you have your seam. And then you're gonna do a slip stitch, and you're gonna pass it through and start working. Here I did a slip knot. I passed it through that little hole that I showed you how to open, and you see you're gonna chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and those chain 3 is right on top of those chain 3, right on top of the other chain 3. Now you're gonna do 1, and holding the tails, that way you lose them at the same time. 2 and 3 double crochet, and 1 increase in the next one. Always increasing had to be on top of the increase before, like that. And remember, we don't counting this chain 3. Now when you go all the way around, you're going to continue now again 3 double crochet separate, 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 together. You're going to do 2 together in the same chain space here. And when you're going to do the slip stitch, I'm going to show you now with the blue that you can see a little bit better where the top of the double crochet is. This is a 1, 2, 3, and here and the top is the top of the double crochet. That is where we've been doing the slip stitch. You're going to do a slip stitch there, cut your yarn, and we're going to start again with the white. To know the half circumference, to know if you are done with the increase, you're going to measure in centimeters. This one measures 16 centimeters, and you're going to multiply that 16 times 3.142, and the result will be the centimeter and the circumference at the head that you are doing. If I do that, this one will be, if that don't increase no more, this one will be for a 3 to 10 years old kid in this size. And depend too on the size of the hook you're using. I'm using 4.5, you can be using 5.5. That depends on the size of the hook and the size of the yarn that you're using. I have some measurement here. For a newborn, the circumference at the head will be 34 centimeters. For 3 to 6 months, 40 centimeters. For 6 to 12 months, 44 centimeters. From 1 year to 3, 48 centimeters. For 3 years to 10 years, 50 centimeters. And a teenager, 55 centimeters. And an adult, 58. And that means that I have to continue doing. I'm going to do another row. I'm going to measure. Whatever measurement that I have, I will multiply for 3.142, and the result will be the circumference. So I will let you know when I'm done with the size that I need. Now I'm going to work with the white. Here I already separate the hole to pass my yarn. I did a slip knot, and now I'm going to chain 3. And remember, those 3 chains I don't count. I'm going to do now 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have to do 2 double crochet and the same chain space for an increase. You're going to continue, and I carry in the tail. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 increase. I'm going to leave the tails now, and later I will cut the excess and the increase. You're going to continue all the way around. You're going to do your slip knot in there, and you're going to do exactly the same thing that we've been doing, but with the black. Here I measure the circumference of the white, and it's 19 centimeters. I'll multiply 19 times 3.142 and equal 59 centimeters, and other numbers, but I just turned it off. 19 by 3.142. 19 times 3.142 and equal 59.698. That means that is the rise in circumference, because it's between 57, 58, 59, 60, the adult size. So I'm going to do my row of black now, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet on top of each double crochet. I don't going to do any more increases. So I'm going to chain 1, cut my yarn, and do exactly the same thing I've been doing here with the black. I'll pass it through, pull it, not too tight, that way it's not a very thick knot. If I show you this like this, I'm going to do this. You don't going to know where the seam is, because only you know because the tail that I have there, because otherwise you don't see any seam for the hat, and that's really nice. Okay, let's start with the black. To start with the black, I'm going to go to the 3 chains and end the top. No here, because otherwise we'll be in this side, and here, and the bottom of that slip stitch. You're going to open that there, and you're going to make a little hole, and you pass your crochet hook through. That way it's right on top. You're going to do a slip knot and start working. Here I pass the yarn through that hole and chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to do 1 double crochet on top of each double crochet without any increase in this row. At the end of this row, you're going to do a slip stitch, and here on top of that, there you're going to do a slip stitch in the top, and from there you're going to continue chain 3 and continue for 3 rows. We'll meet here after the 3rd row when we finish doing working with the black, and then we'll start with the white again. And I finished with the black. Now I'm going to cut and chain 1. Now I'm going to find again the little hole there with my needle, and I will go with the white, and you see you don't see any seam at all whatsoever in this hat, just by doing that. Now I'm going to start with the white. I pass my yarn. Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to do a row of white. Remember, no more increases. Just one on top of each other. And when we finish with the white, we're going to cut our yarn, attach the blue exactly the same, opening the little hole and doing that 3 chains on top of the 3 chains, and we'll continue. And after that, the white, we do a row of the blue and a row of the white again, and then we'll measure our hat and we will know if we need to do more, how many more rows we need to do. Look at how nice the hat is start to look already with the design of the stripes. Now we're going to start with the black again. We're going to put the black here and do 3 more rows of black, and I will do mine off camera. You have to do just 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet like you've been doing with all these, and I will do 3 rows. I will measure mine and I will let you know if that's the size that I'm making mine, and you can measure yours for with the person's head that you're doing it. But if it's a present and then you don't know that person's head size, well, I will give you the size of mine and you can guide yourself for that one. Well, here is my hat. I finished with the 3rd row. I chain 1, I cut my yarn, and I'm going to lose that tail, and look fantastic. I love the way it looks. I hope you like it. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Try to make it maybe different color, depending on the color you like. I like this one. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. Oh, and something that I forgot to mention, I gave to my hat 9 inches is how much I measure. 9 inches long. Well, I hope you like it. Have a good day. Bye.